Hey everyone, I want to use this video to talk to you about quartiles and box plots and what those things are and how to make them in spreadsheet. We're actually not going to use sheets to make box plots because sheets is terrible at box plots. So anyway, let's get started. Let me share my screen and we'll see where we're at. So this is the data I'm going to be using. This is the same data from the previous video. You can see I've even got the same chart in here. Let me go ahead and share up the notes so you can see where we are at right here. So I'm going to talk about quartiles and box plots. So I'm going to show you how to make a box plot by hand. I'll make it by hand for this, and I'll show you how to do it on the computer as well in Excel. I guess I'll show you how to do it in Sheets, but it is stupid. I don't know why Sheets doesn't make box plots, but you have to kind of kludge it together really badly, and then it doesn't even do a good job of making them anyway. So I'm going to use Excel. If you have a different program that you use, go ahead. I'll probably ask you to make a box plot by hand on a test. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how to do that. So here is so to make box plots. I first want to talk about what quartiles are. So quartiles are the breakpoints where you divide data into 4 equal sized chunks. So I'm going to take my data set and divide it into 4 equal sized pieces. And then the breaks between those are called quartiles, which let me just explain why there's only going to be 3 of them, right? If I were to take this line and I wanted to break this line into 3 pieces or into 4 pieces, one break breaks it into 2 pieces, and 3 breaks breaks it into 4 pieces, right? And so what we're going to have is we're going to have a first, second, and third quartile. Now you might notice that the second quartile divides it into 2 equal pieces. That's the median. The median is just the second quartile. They're the same thing. There's other words for it too. This is called the first quartile, and this is the third quartile, and they're abbreviated Q1 and Q3. And calling the median Q2 if you want is totally fine. That makes perfect sense. I don't know if it's usually called that, median, but if you wanted to call it Q2, you totally could. And then the ends here are the minimum and maximum values, right? So I've got my min and my max there. Min and max. So that's all quartiles are. Quartiles are just the breakpoints that you use to divide your data into 4 equal chunks. There are other tiles that you can use. You've probably heard of percentiles, I would imagine, where instead of breaking your data into 4 equal chunks, percentiles break it into 100 equal chunks, right? So you got your first percentile and your second percentile and third percentile. Yeah, and so same deal. It's just more chunks. There are others. There are some I've seen quintiles and deciles used before. Quintiles break it into 5 pieces. The only people I know who use quintiles are economists. I don't know why they don't just use quartiles like other people. There's probably a good reason, but I don't know what it is. So sometimes they use quintiles to break it into chunks of 20%, basically. And then deciles break it into 10 pieces. We're not going to do either of those. We're just going to do quartiles. Those are the most common ones, at least for statisticians. And so that's what we're going to learn. That's what we're going to use. So the easiest way I know of to find your quartiles is to find your median and then find the median of the bottom half of the data. And that's Q1. I wrote Q2, pardon me. I apologize. That is wrong. Where's my eraser? Let's get rid of that guy and try and do this correctly. Hello? Q1. I apologize. I wrote Q2 because I was saying Q2 for the median. So to find your Q1, you find your median, and then you look at your bottom half of the data and find the median of that. So in other words, you divide your data in half, and then you divide it in half again here. And then you do the same thing. You do the top half for Q3. Right? You take the top half of your data, find the median of the top half, and that's your Q3. That's the easiest way to do it. Let me go ahead and show you an example of that. I'm going to go ahead and share the notes up here, these guys. All right, so yeah. Okay, so a box plot is, well, okay, let's do this. So I'm going to need to find all those things, the minimum Q1, median Q3, and maximum of this data in order to make a box plot. So what a box plot is it's literally just the values of those things on a number line. So all a box plot is these 5 things graphed over a number line. I'll show you what I mean by that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find these 5 things of that data set that we just had. So let me go ahead and go back to the notes. So here's my data set that I'm going to use right there. And so I'm going to find the 5 things I just said: minimum, Q1, median, Q3, maximum. You can also think of it as min, max, and Q1, Q2, Q3. So min and max are easy, clearly 19 and 82. All right, so let's go ahead and put those on here. So the minimum was 19, maximum was 82, and then we're going to find Q1, the median, and Q3. Although I'm going to find the median first, and then Q1 and Q3 after that. So let's go back here. So the first thing I need to do in order to find the median is I need to know how many things are in my set, so that I can tell what position to look in to find the median, right? If there are 10 things, I'll look between positions 5 and 6. If there are 11 things, I'll look at position 6. Remember that we're going to do n plus 1 over 2, where n is the number of things in the set. So first, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 25, 26. So I got 26 things in my data set. So if I were to do, here, let me give it a little space here. If I were to do 26 plus 1 over 2, right? So I'm going to do 26 plus 1 over 2. I would get 13.5, 27 over 2. So 13.5, the way you want to interpret that is I'm going to look between the 13th and 14th position to find my median, right? So it's going to be the average, which you'd expect. It's going to have to be the average of 2 numbers here because there's an even number of things in my data set. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. There's 14 there. So right there. So the median is between 33 and 35. So that means that it is 34. Right. So take the average of 33 and 35 to find those. I think if I go to a whiteboard, it's gonna cancel this, but that's okay. Well, we know where it is. So let me go over to the whiteboard. So we said the median was 34. And I got to find Q1 and Q2. So let's go back to the notes here. And indeed, yeah, I hate how Zoom does that. It deletes the thing I just had. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back on. All right, so that was here. There's my median. And so if I want to find my Q1 and my Q3, so my first and third quartiles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the number that divides this bottom set in half, or it is the middle of that bottom set. So there's 13 things in the bottom half of my data and 13 in the top half, right? That's how we chose. That's why we cut it right there. So there's the same number on both sides. So if I do 13 plus 1 over 2, 13 plus 1 over 2, I'm not writing so well, sorry. That is 14 over 2 is 7. So I'm going to look at the 7th position in the bottom half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so 26. That's my Q1. And then the 7th position in the top half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 40. Q3. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put those on my whiteboard. I literally forgot what they were, 26 and 40, I think. I remember the 40. I'm sorry, apparently I'm getting a little forgetful here. 2, 3, 5, 6, yeah, it's 26. Okay, great. 26, great. 26, okay. So this is not what a box plot looks like. I'm just writing down what the numbers are here. I'm gonna make a box plot right now. So what a box plot is this stuff on a number line. So you get a visual representation of where your data is. So what I have to do to make a box plot is first make a number line. Here's my number line. And then on that number line, I want to make sure this number line covers 19 through 82. So I'm just going to go 10 through 90, right? So means average is going to be 50, 50, 30, 10, 70, 90. Okay. You could write in 20, 40, 60, 80. I think it looks a little bit too busy if I do that here because my screen is not super high resolution, or rather my pencil's kind of fat so you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these numbers, 19, 26, 34, 40, and 82. I'm going to put little vertical lines above where they would occur on the graph. So here would be 20, so like 19 is like here. So we're going to go like this. 26, so there's 30. So if this is 20 and this is 30, 26 is like half, a little bit more than halfway. So vertical line there. 34, so there's 40. This would be like 35, so 34. That 40 is like halfway between 30 and 50. What is halfway between 30 and 50? And then 82 is way over here, 70, 80, a little bit bigger, 82. Notice I'm not being super precise, and there's really not any reason to try and be incredibly precise here. Be neat, be clear, but you don't have to worry about getting it down to the thing. And then what I'm going to do here is connect this up like that. This is what a box plot looks like, and you may have seen these before. I have to admit that I always found these mysterious, and they look complicated. Before I got to college, and then it was like, oh, is that all it is? It's literally just like 5 dots on a graph, essentially. 5 dots on a number line. That's literally the same thing, and it is. That's all it is. It is the minimum, Q1, median, Q3, and maximum. The fact that there's a box here and lines or arms here and here makes no difference at all. The vertical lines are the only things that matter. Yeah, I'm not sure why someone decided to make it look fancy like this, but that's what it looks like. So this is a box plot. Let me show you. Let me tell you a couple of things that people do wrong when they are making box plots. Well, first, let me actually make this point. You might want to label these 19, 26, 34, 40. It's not a grade 4 eraser. I don't know why it makes you restart the whiteboard if you want to start writing again. And 82, right? Just because we did it all by hand, it's a little imprecise, so it's nice to label those things. The thing that people do wrong most often is the following. Well, actually, let me preface that by saying this. The whole point of a box plot is to give you a visual representation of where the min, max, and quartiles lay on a number line. Without the number line, it makes literally no sense to make a box plot. It doesn't do anything at all if you don't have the number line. And what people will often do is the following. I ask for a box plot. I typically ask for a box plot on the first test, so make sure you know how to make these. And what people will often give me is this. They'll just draw a little box, put a line down the middle and some arms, and they'll write like 19, 26, 34, 40, and 82. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten literally that answer on the first test. That is missing the entire point. There's no point of that. This box does nothing to represent the shape of the data, literally nothing, because there's no number line, there's no scale for it. You have to have the scale or this doesn't make any sense. So that is 100 times more prevalent than any other mistake people make on box plots. Don't do that. That is a good way to lose a bunch of points. Make sure that you put the scale so that the shape of the box has some sort of meaning, because this shape has no meaning whatsoever. It's just a picture of a box that doesn't tell you anything. These 5 numbers, by the way, are called the 5-number summary. I suppose I should probably have said that earlier, but that's fine. This right here is the 5-number summary. I've also heard it called the 5-point summary, which is fine if you want to call it that. I heard it called 5-number summary first, and so I just called it that forever. And it's a fine thing to have. Boxplot is literally just a graphical version of the 5-number summary on a number line. Without the number line, it has no meaning. It doesn't matter whether you put like the lines here. I think I don't remember if Excel even puts the lines here on the boxplot. Sheets doesn't either, but we're not going to use Sheets because their boxplots are dumb. So that's how you make a box plot by hand. Let me show you how to make a box plot on the computer. So let me pop over here to Sheets. The commands, by the way, for the quartiles, they're the same, or they're quartiles. So I can do excuse me, I forgot to put equals. Nope, my bad. This is the title. Quartiles equals quartile. And the data set that you want to draw from. So I'm going to do A2 to A201, just like I was doing before, comma, the quartile numbers, right? So A2 to, I'm doing 201, and then the third quartile. So the first quartile here, so Q1, I put in a 1 there. It gives me this. So there is the first quartile. Excuse me, I should call this first quartile. And then for data B, you can get the command out of the list as well. Quartile is in here. It's under statistics. Quartile. There it is. Quartile, and that's the thing I just typed in, of course. So B2 to B201. Excuse me. I want quartile 1. Like that. And then same thing I can do with third quartile. Quartile will do equals quartile. Notice it's not it's not sensitive to case. Not case sensitive, that's the word I was looking for. You can do it caps, no caps, just first letter caps, so it's all the same command. A2 to A201, third quartile. And then same thing for B. And let me show you a thing that you can do that's pretty neat. This box right here. This is the fill command. I'll show you what I mean by that. If I take this and grab by this box, and notice I'm not just like selecting 2 cells. What I'm doing is I'm specifically grabbing this, turns into like a skinny plus sign there, and drag it over here. It'll put that same thing in this slot, but it'll change the A's to B's. So notice it's B2 to B201, third quartile. So you actually could enter all your commands here and then just grab them all at once and drag it over there. In fact, let me do this. So all that stuff that I've put in here from this video and the last one, I could just do it all in A. Take this and it'll put it all over there, but with B's, which is pretty neat. That's a little time saver for you, so you don't have to type everything. Another thing it will do is it'll take this, if you do the down, it'll move the cells down that it's grabbing from too, right? Notice this is A2 to A201, third quartile. If I do this, it'll do A3 to A202. It moved the minimum and maximum area that it's grabbing from the cells down 1 because I moved the box down 1, which is not what I want to do. Like this doesn't have any useful meaning. But that is a useful thing that you can do. Works really well if you're going left and right, and you're trying to fill formulas for from different columns. You just make the table of your stats in another column, and then drag all the formulas. It's really convenient. So that's first quartile, third quartile. I'm not going to make box plots here. I'll show you sort of how to do it. I'll show you how to do it. It is dumb. I don't know why it does this. Where's box plot? Stick plot. Is it going to make me? Oh, there it is. Candlestick chart. Requires at least 5 columns, but only 3 are provided. So the 3 that are provided are the ones that I've grabbed here. The 5 columns that they're talking about are, they want you to put in a title, the minimum, Q1, Q3, and the maximum. I don't know why it won't just grab that out of your data, but it won't. I was so flabbergasted by this that I went on the Google Sheets help forums and their help webpage. No, they just don't make box plots. You have to do it yourself. You would have to find the minimum, find Q1, Q3, and the maximum, put those in separately, and then it will make you a box plot. Don't ask me why. So I'm not going to do that. I think that is done. They make every other chart so nicely. I don't know why they won't make box plots, but they won't. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to put it in Excel. So I'm going to grab this data and copy paste it into Excel. Excel will make box plots just fine. So I'm going to copy, Control C. I think I have Excel open already, don't I? I do. Oh, in fact, I already put the data in here. So yeah, let me switch my share over to Excel. So I've put my data in there, right? You can see this is the unsorted version. Actually, I already had it in here, so I didn't copy paste. I copy pasted it previously. And if I want to make a box plot, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do roughly the same thing as we did in Sheets. It really is pretty much the same stuff. I'm just going to grab all this. One thing about Excel, it grabs really fast. If I want to do this, I just grab the data I want, go to Insert Chart, Insert Chart. I don't believe it has box plots listed here. It doesn't. One thing about Excel that I don't know if it occurs in other spreadsheet programs and in Microsoft programs in general, if you see this little symbol in the lower right, it means there's more that you can see. So I'm going to see all charts here. All charts, please. I would like a box and whisker plot. The whisker is the arms. There you go. Hit OK. Simple. Could not be easier. I actually don't know if it'll let me do a second series. Let's find out. Now I'm curious. Shoot. Hello? Nope. No. So this is one. All right, great. No, cancel. So it's one thing. One reason why I don't like Excel is it seems to not know why I'm doing stuff most of the time. So let's see if I can insert a chart here. Yeah, go to box and whisker plot, all charts, box and whisker. It will. It'll do them side by side. That's nice. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So we're going to do OK. And there we go. We make our box plots. And you can see that you can edit this stuff in largely the same way that you do in Sheets. I click on a thing, like the y-axis, like notice this goes all the way down to 0. I don't want it to go down to 0. Let's go down to like 15 since all our data is bigger than that. This dot right here, by the way, is an outlier, which we're going to talk about in the next video, how to calculate them. But Excel is calculating the outlier automatically and exploding it out here, which is actually kind of nice. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to go to Axis Options. Yeah, the vertical axis, that's the one I want. Oh, Chart. Axis Options. The minimum I will put as, let's say, 15. And the maximum is 40. Yeah, looks fine. Display units. Feet. Accept that. No, I don't know why it asked what it meant by that. Yeah, there you go. So you can edit these things in largely the same way that you could in Sheets. Excel actually has even more options than Sheets does. It's pretty nice. They're a little harder to find, and it's a little less intuitive how to do things in Excel. But there you go. You're welcome to use Excel if you want. If you want to add things, by the way, this is usually the place right here. Or you can just click on the thing you want to change. Or if you're not, like if there's nothing showing up here, you can go up to chart tools and it'll let you, like all these commands that you're seeing from clicking are all in menus up here somewhere. You might have to dig around for them a little bit, but they're all up here. Yeah, so box plots, we found them. Data labels, let's do that. There we go. And it tells us what the data labels are. Can we move these over? Will it allow that? No. And it tells us what the numbers were, right? So the minimum, so the minimum is actually 16.14 here, and then it gives us the rest of the stuff. We'll talk about the outliers in a little bit. I'm not expecting you to explode your outliers out on your box plots, although you're welcome to. I just want you to know how to read a box plot, basically. So that's how you make box plots. Insert and go to see all charts and box plot in Excel. I bet Macs have, or iOS, whatever program you're using in iOS can probably do the same thing. I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it can. Like I was shocked that Sheets couldn't do box plots. So anyway, I think that's all I want to say about box plots. Let's go have a quick look at the notes. Make sure I've hit all the major points. Box plots, yes. So make a number line, label it so it covers all your data. Find minimum Q1, median Q3, maximum. That's the 5-number summary. Draw a little vertical line at each of the 5 points and draw your box based on that, right? So with the whiteboard, that's what we did here, right? We found our 5-number summary, put those on a number line, make the number line. Don't forget to make the number line. Make the number line, put those on the number line, draw a box around the middle 50%, and then there's 25% here and 25% here. Actually, there is one more point I want to make about box plots. It's not in the notes and it's not in the book either. And that is that box plots are a little bit weird in the sense that, to me at least, they seem kind of backwards visually, where if you look at it, we've got like 4 distinct sections, right? The first quarter of the data, then the second quarter, then the third quarter, and the fourth quarter of the data. And it looks like when you look at it, just intuitively, there would be more data in here, but there isn't. That's the point. There's the same amount of data between 40 and 82 as there is from 34 to 40, right? So when you see a long section of a box plot, it doesn't mean there's more data in there. It means the data is more sparse, that there's actually less data per width. So it's the same amount of data from here to here as there is from here to here. So it means there's lots of things. It's very dense in here and very sparse in there. And so that, more than anything else, is why I don't really like box plots all that much, is they are visually backwards from their functionality. In the sense that things that are big does not mean, or parts of the box plot that are big does not mean that there's a lot of stuff in there. There's the same amount of stuff. It's just more stretched out, right? It's less dense. It's more sparse. So that's why box plots sort of read a little bit backwards, and that's also why doing this, where you don't put the number line, doesn't do anything for you, right? Because the whole point of the box plot is to see where the data is dense and where it's sparse. So it's dense in here, sparse in there. All right, that's the point of a box plot. So doing this doesn't accomplish that goal, and so don't do it. That is actually the last thing I want to say about box plots. So let me go ahead and stop the video right here, and I will see you in the next one.